Hey, this guy came in here yesterday. He's got a wash machine in the back of his pickup truck, and he said he backs it up and then gets out and he says, "Hey, I hope you can help me because I already paid one guy over $200 to change the suspension rods on this wash machine. I'm still getting a UB error." I said, "Okay, is it a Samsung?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Is it Active WaterJet?" And he said, "I don't know." I said, "Let's go look." So I looked up there, and sure enough, it's an Active WaterJet. And I said, "You changed the suspension rods already?" He said, "Yeah." So I had to tell him that it was a terminal illness and I couldn't do anything for him. And that's what this video is about. I hate getting calls on these machines, and I'm going to tell you why. When somebody calls me about a Samsung Active WaterJet and they tell me that they're getting a UB or a DC code, that's an unbalanced load, and their clothes are coming out soaking wet and the spin cycle starting and it's stopping, and well, I already know what I'm walking into before I ever touch the machine, and it's not good. What makes it worse is that these machines are really nice looking machines. They're really not that old. You see them and you think, well, that's a quality appliance. They're not beat up. They're not old. They're no more than usually 5 years old or less. And the customer is standing there looking at me expecting me to fix it. Well, I wish I could. But here's what's happening inside that machine. At the bottom of that spin basket, below the wash plate or the impeller, there is a splined hub or a flange that's attached to the spin basket by stainless steel bolts. It looks like a big wagon wheel, really, with no wheel on the outside. Now that flange is the precision connection between the basket and the drive shaft. And on these Active WaterJet machines, those splines wear out along the top and the bottom of that flange. And they don't exactly strip, but they wear where it can rock. And it creates kind of an hourglass shape that the drive shaft rocks back and forth on. And it's really subtle and it's hardly detectable. But when that happens, the basket can no longer sit true on the drive shaft and it kind of leans maybe 2 to 3 degrees. And it wobbles on every rotation. The machine detects that wobble because it becomes so severe, and it throws an unbalanced code. And it's going to stop spinning. And well, what actually happens is the machine is designed to do this. It's not malfunctioning really. It stops spinning because it thinks it's out of balance, and it is because of that. And it tries to float your clothes, move them around, and redistribute the load. Because it's telling you something's wrong with that load. The problem is that something is a worn spline hub, and that wobble is now permanent. And there's no suspension rods that are going to fix it, no leveling, no load redistribution trick. Nothing can fix this. And the machine has a terminal illness. Now, the correct repair is to replace that flange or the entire spin basket assembly. It may come along with that flange, and the whole assembly there is Samsung part number DC9716990, and it has various letters and suffixes depending on your specific model. Now the basket and the hub all come out as one unit, and you can throw that part away and replace it with the new one. And here's where Samsung let every one of these customers down. That part is either discontinued or on indefinite back order, or it's simply unavailable. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute. Now, Whirlpool had a similar problem a few years ago with these plastic tub hubs on their BMW style machines, or vertical modular washers. They engineered a fix for that problem. They made a replacement part for it, and they stood behind their machines, and now that plastic part is being replaced with new metal parts as they come into shops all across the country. And somebody, I don't know who gets the credit for this, it was probably some tech out in the field who got tired of throwing away these good machines, and they came up with this aftermarket replacement hub for these Whirlpools. And it's a 3D printed replaceable splined insert because somebody decided that this machine was worth enough to save. And I remember having to tell customers it wasn't a repairable problem until these two parts came along to fix it. Before that, lots of really nice top-load washers were sent to the scrapyard. And Samsung has done neither. Samsung made a business decision to discontinue support for a machine that is well within what any reasonable person would expect to be its working life. 5 years old, paid good money for it, and the manufacturer's done with it before you are. Now, they didn't engineer fix, they didn't develop any replacement parts. They just walked away from it, and I'm the one sitting across from the customer having to explain why her 5-year-old washing machine is a total loss. Not that it's a wear issue, that is a company telling you that we're done with your machine. If you own a Samsung Active WaterJet and you're getting that UV or DC code, before you spend a penny on suspension rods, pull that wash plate, look at that splined hubit back down in there and at the bottom of the spin basket, and check whether that basket assembly is even available for your model number. It may completely change the conversation about whether this machine is worth repairing. So drop your questions in the comments. I'll read all of them, even if it takes me a while to get back to them. If this video kept you from throwing good money after bad at a repair that won't work, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Links to everything I recommend are in the description below. I'm Chip with Harper Knowles, and thanks for watching, and I am out.